So the plants that I'm going to pot up today into my plant pots here, let me show them. I'm going to move this out the way really quickly. So it's going to be this guy. Hopefully you can see the whole thing in the camera. This is what it's looking like in the water. I probably should have added some more water to it probably like a week ago, but she'll be all right. So we're going to do that one. I'm just going to put it safely on the floor so I can show you guys the other one. And I'm hoping that these plants don't experience too much shock when I transplant it into soil. I decided to chop up my Deliciosa and I broke it up into like 4 or 5 separate plants. So that's the biggest piece. And then I'm also transplanting this one as well. Hopefully you can see that one. Now I did have 2 others that I've already transplanted probably like a couple before the holidays. I just ran out of soil. I figured it'll be a lot easier to move these guys while they're in soil versus in water. So I've done several videos in the past where I've showed you how I've repotted plants. If you have any specific questions on how to repot a plant, I'll leave some video links in my description box. There are also other helpful videos on YouTube, but I would leave some clips here on the side of me repotting the plants just so you can get the gist of how you repot. So here are the roots in this one. I mean, it doesn't look like a lot, but there's quite a bit of roots in here. Let me get my soil set up and then we'll grab you again. I'm gonna put the smaller one in here. I'm gonna put the larger one in here. Okay, I'm just gonna put this in a plastic bag in the meantime, just because I don't wanna make too much of a mess. And I have on my gloves. So here, I live in New Jersey for the next 4 or so weeks. I'm a New Jersey resident, but in New Jersey, when you go to Target, you actually don't get these Target plastic bags anymore. You have to take your own bags to places like Target and the local supermarkets, but I had that bag from when I went out of town recently, so I have that. And then for my potting mix, I usually use just regular potting soil. I'm not married to the Miracle Grow brand, but that's just readily available. I also use some, what is this? This is my orchid bark. And I also use some perlite. So that's just the mixture that I use and that has worked for me. So that's what I'm going to continue to use. So let me get these guys in here. So I guess we can chat as I do this. So as I said, we are moving. Really excited. It's bittersweet because boy do I love Jersey. I'm gonna miss Jersey so much. My daughter was born here. My husband and I moved here, you know, from New York, and you know, we just built a life here, and you know, we have a lot of friends and family in the area. Different organizations that I'm a part of are here in Jersey. You know, just our entire life is here. But we are moving just, you know, for growth, opportunities. I know here on this channel, you guys are more interested in plants. It's so funny because whenever I talk about anything non-plant related, it's like you guys aren't checking for it. You're like, where's the plants? That's cool and everything, but where's the plants? So I totally get it. That's not what you signed up for. If you guys are interested in more details about my move, then I do have a second channel. It's called Darling Fell. I'll share more about my move there. So if you guys are interested, please check me out on that side. But yeah, we're so excited. So as far as it relates to my plants and the move, I need to figure that out. Like I said before, I've been watching a ton of videos on just people, you know, learning how to pack the plants safely, you know, what materials to pack it in. And let me actually show you because it's within arm's reach. I got this from Home Depot. Hopefully you can see it. This is like a flexible cardboard. So I'm thinking I can probably wrap this around the individual plants. And also use like saran wrap. Yeah, saran wrap to cover the soil just so that the soil doesn't come out. And then I'll wrap this around the leaves itself and then put them in boxes. I'm thinking that's what I might do. That seems to be the safest way, but to be completely honest, I don't think I'm gonna take all the plants with me. I'm just being honest. I have some plants in my collection now. I probably have 20 something plants, but I do have some plants that I don't think it's gonna survive the move. Just because, you know, right now we're in the middle of winter and, you know, plants already are kind of struggling through the winter months, so to have them go on a long move, it might be more damaging than good. So I'm actually going to give the plants that I'm okay with parting with, I'm going to give them to friends and family and some of my neighbors, so they'll be in good care. So here are the roots on that first plant. Hopefully you guys can see it. I'm just going to go ahead and put it down in this nursery pot. I'm really excited for the move. My husband's excited for the move. My daughter, she's really young, so she doesn't really quite understand, but we're all extremely excited. Let me try to move this thing out of the way. You guys can see me. So if you guys are interested in me just sharing the process of how I prepare my plants for the move, that will be some of the next set of videos you'll see on my channel. As you notice, my uploads have been a bit sporadic, but as I just revealed, we are in the process of moving. This has been a long time coming, and we were actually supposed to move, what, 4 or so months ago. Some things happened, so we had to kind of put a pin on things, but you know, things work for a reason. You know, it kind of sucked at the time, but we now see why, you know, that didn't work out, because, you know, sometimes you just got to be open to and trust the process. We trusted the process, and here we are today. I think I'm also going to put a moss pole in this plant. I kind of go back and forth with the whole moss pole thing. I do have a satin pothos right now that I have on a moss pole, and it looks cool and everything, but I don't know. We'll see. Because I really do, the whole point of me, you know, taking this plant in its previous form, I'll add a link to the video of me pretty much just chopping up this plant. As I mentioned before, this plant originally had like 4 stems in it, and it was a beautiful plant, but it was just growing a little bit too wild for my liking and for my space. So that was the reason why I chopped it up in the first place, and I did that maybe 4 or 5 months ago, so it's been a while. And the results were actually, it came out really nice. As I always say, anybody could be a plant parent as long as you have the right growing conditions for the plant, because if you would have asked me like 4 or 5 years ago if I would have plants, much less be talking to people on YouTube about plants, I would say, yeah, right. But here I am today. I love my plants. And it's going to be so hard. I mean, yes and no. I was going to say it's going to be so hard deciding which plants I want to take on the move, because I love all my plants. You know, you put time and effort into caring for them, making sure they're, you know, making sure you're growing them the right way and giving them what they need to grow. I like buying them when they're small. I like watching them grow. So it'll definitely be hard deciding which plants I want to take with me and which plants I want to give away. But, I mean, what has to be done has to be done. And that's what I will do. So right now I'm just kind of topping off the top portion of the plant. You'll notice that I stuck one of the shorter aerial roots back into the plant, and that'll just kind of help the plant be a little bit more sturdy and not wobbly and not leaned over to the side. I think I'm going to add probably another aerial root or 2 back into the soil. And especially if I decide to use a moss pole, that'll also help it kind of stay a little bit more upright. Which again is the reason why I chopped up the plant in the first place. Once I, you know, get settled, then of course I'll share more about, you know, the new location of where I'm going to set up my plants, because of course that's the most exciting part, is just figuring out where my plants will live, their new home. But I'm just hoping more than anything else they survive the move, because like I said, it's several hours away. So my plants and some of our other things will be getting there by way of moving truck. So I think they should be fine though. It's just a matter, it's just all about me packing the plants safely for the move. All right, I am going to miss my current plant setup behind me. I'm trying to decide if I want to keep the same setup, you know, keep my plant stand, which I think I will, but I don't know. There will be so many more videos to come in the coming months about my new plant setup, my new plant stations, so more to come there. So I am done propagating the first plant, and I decided to put the larger of the 2 plants in the nursery pot. just because I figure that's the best decision at the moment. Now this plant is acting like it wants to topple over. But what I'm gonna do in the meantime, I'm just gonna prop this right back into that larger plastic plant pot, the 10-inch. So let me grab that. So I'm just gonna put it in here for now. And I will get one of my, either my moss poles, or I have something else that I can use. So this is what it's looking like. Oh, it's slumped over to the side. So that is plant number 1. So here are the roots on this one. Those nice healthy roots. And I'm just gonna stick that aerial root right into this pot as well. I'm just gonna wrap it around. I don't know if you can hear it. It's like that snapping sound, but the aerial root is not breaking. It's just, you know, because of that layer of, I don't know what the material is called, but that's what you're hearing snap, not necessarily the root. So let's get that in there. I'm trying to be as careful as possible. So this one is all set, and this one is just sitting up so nice and pretty. All right, so I'm bringing the larger of the 2 plants back to the table here because I don't know if you guys can tell, but it is kind of slumped over to the side, but that is no problem. So I have these plant props. So rather than use a moss pole, I'm going to use these plant props, and let me show you what I mean if you have no idea what I'm talking about. Stay still. So I have these little, you may have seen these in different garden centers or nurseries, but this is essentially what it looked like. Can you see that little hook there at the top? So I have 3 different sizes. I have this medium size, I also have this smaller size, and then I have this larger size. And I can already tell the larger one is too large, so I'm just gonna toss the larger one out. And the reason why I know that one is too large is because when you're using these plant props, you want to be careful where exactly you're kind of hooking that plant. So going back to this larger plant, you don't want to put your plant prop like right here, like on the stem of the leaf, because you just don't want to, you know, do too much to irritate the plant. So what I like to use and what has worked for me is I will put the plant prop on the base. So right here, let me bring it over to the side so you can see better. So rather than putting the plant prop like on one of these stems here of the plant, I would put it on the actual, this part right here where all the stems are shooting out of. So knowing that, I'm thinking that the small, ooh, you guys can't even see me. I'm thinking that the smallest one would be the best one to go with. So I'm just going to take a look at where the plant is drooping. It's drooping over here to my right. The plant is kind of leaning off to my right, so I'm just going to put it on the left side of the pot and stick it in. I'll get with you guys in a second. There you go. Better already. So this is now what it's looking like. Hopefully you guys can tell that it's not leaning over as much. It's kind of standing upright a bit more. And this is where I inserted the plant prop. Thank you guys for watching another video, and welcome to all my new subscribers. I really appreciate your continued support. Again, if you guys are interested in how I go about getting these plants prepped and ready for moving, let me know by giving me a thumbs up or leaving me a comment below. And there's my phone going off. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.